Gregg Berhalter has finally revealed the training camp roster. The USA will play against Colombia on June 8th, followed by playing against Brazil on June 12th. These two friendlies will take place mainly because they want to prepare the US before they go into the Copa América, and they're going to be facing Bolivia, Panama, and Uruguay. So to see the roster right now is amazing, because now we can speculate exactly who should get playing time, who shouldn't, who should be out. And I do want to get a few things very clear. This is considered as a preliminary squad. It is going to be cut down for the tournament, which is the Copa América. Gregg Berhalter will pick his final squad after the two friendlies are over. Because of the CONMEBOL regulations, the teams are only allowed to have between 23 and 26 players within the squad. This current roster that we do have right now has a total of 27. So maybe and potentially we could have Gregg cut down the squad all the way down to 23, taking out 1 to 4 total players. So now that we do have that out the way, one of the things that I do want to speak about is the fact that Serginho Dest has an ACL injury. He is going to be out for the whole year. Many have been speculating who is going to be the replacement of Serginho Dest, because Dest has been so important to the team. Could it be Shaq Moore? I don't think so. The only reason why he is here is because Yedlin and Jones have been going through an injury, and even though yes, Shaq Moore has been one of the favorites for Gregg Berhalter, I don't expect him to be the direct replacement for Serginho Dest. Like, yes, he's there because he has experience and he has been through the Gold Cup back in 2021. He has been through the World Cup of 2022, but in the end, I don't see this player as somebody exceptional. Like, he's not really exceptional at anything. He's very average in all aspects in regards to a defender. Yes, it is very much possible that Scully will be the main right back for Gregg Berhalter's team, but Gregg Berhalter has also hinted at the fact that Joe Scully might not be the only player to play in the right back position. Gregg Berhalter has been considering using either Timothy Weah, Weston Mckennie, or Musah as a potential option for the absence of Serginho Dest because of his injury. And one of the questions that I do want to ask everybody here is, who do you see as a right back out of these three players? Is it Weah, Weston Mckennie, or Musah? Let me tell you, losing Dest is a huge loss for Gregg. Dest offered so much in the attack, and I feel like Gregg is definitely going to need another player besides Scully that can bring a lot to the final third. When we speak about Weston McKennie has played in right back areas but never truly started as a right back. At Juventus, he usually does play as a right midfielder. With the US, he also sometimes does play as a right midfielder and does occupy spaces of a right back, but never truly again as a right back. So I don't see Weston McKennie being tested as a right back and being used as a right back in the Copa América. There's no way. His place is in the midfield. As for Musah has played once as a right back against Leeds this season. That game ended 2-2, and he played as a right back for 80 minutes. He also did play as a right back against Juventus in a match where it did end 0-0, and he accumulated 45 minutes as a right back. Musah could be a great reinforcement, but I just don't see it. And the reason why is because I believe that Timothy Weah could be an option over Scully, or the second option after Scully. Timothy Weah is the closest one to potentially becoming a right back for the US. At Juventus, yes, he does play as a pure right midfielder, not as a right winger like what we do see at Juventus, but in the previous season when he was at Lille, he played as a right back 8 times and as a left back 8 times. So he is no stranger to potentially playing as a fullback for the US one day. Like, he'll see that as an opportunity for him to gain even more minutes. Do I see a situation where Gregg can field Timothy Weah as a right back and Robinson as a left back? Of course, but is he the first choice? I don't think so. I think that we're still going to be seeing Scully as a right back and Robinson as the left back. Moving on from that, I also want to speak about Timmy Tillman, the 25-year-old who does represent the LAFC. First of all, I do want to say congratulations to the player for getting called up. There's a big reason why he has been called up. That is because he has been a boss in the MLS. He has played a total of 14 matches so far this season with 4 goals and 3 assists as a attacking midfielder, sometimes as a pure midfielder. And for the first time, he's being called up with his brother, Malik Tillman, which means that there is a chance to make history here. If these two German-born players, Timmy Tillman and Malik Tillman, play on the field together and in the same match, they would become the first pair of brothers to play side by side for the US since 1988. They are already the 10th set of brothers to both play for the national team at any time. And to be honest, I do see another pair of brothers going into the national team at the same time very soon outside of Tillman, and that is going to be the Aronson brothers. Hopefully, if Paxton Aronson and Brendan Aronson get to play together within these next 3 to 4 years, that would would be great. And so because he is being called up and the training camp is not going to start until May 28th, he will be available for the US Open Cup against Luton United for the LAFC, and he's also going to be available for the match against Atlanta United on Saturday. But after that, then he will have to leave the LAFC. And so I'm happy for the player. I honestly, to be honest with you guys, I don't see him getting a lot of minutes because our midfield area is just so jam-packed. There's too many good players within that section, and I think that he's just there to like really embrace the atmosphere of the national team, and hopefully if he does surprise Gregg Berhalter, maybe have continuity after the friendly matches are over. Also, I would like to speak about the striker position. I just simply feel like Balogun and Pepi, they have to step up. Haji Wright continues to show that he is probably the best striker for the US right now because of his current form. Look at what happened in the match against Jamaica. He scored 2 goals, and in the match against Mexico, where Pepi and Balogun should have done something, they did not do anything. Balogun did nothing for 30 minutes, and then we had Pepi, who also did not even play. He couldn't convince Gregg. So as of now, I still claim as Haji Wright as the main striker for the US to play alongside Timothy Weah and Christian Pulisic. And moving on towards the last section that I do want to speak about, that is going to be about Johnny Cardoso. And this is probably the biggest talk for today's video. And I want to ask you guys this. Do you guys believe that Johnny Cardoso could get into the midfield of the US? Because right now we have 2 very strong midfield options, and 2 options that Gregg Berhalter does use a lot, which is number 1, Mckennie, Adams, Gio, a world-class midfield, and a midfield that is very balanced. You have the creator, you have the ball winner, and then you have the box-to-box midfielder. It is the perfect midfield, and I just find it extremely hard for Johnny Cardoso to make a case on why he should start over any of those 3 players. The second option that Gregg usually does is Mckennie, Adams, and Musah. So to Johnny Cardoso, he's really gonna have to show to Gregg Berhalter why he should be starting over either Mckennie or Adams. And I think that Johnny could actually do it. ESPN reported that among La Liga defensive midfielders with more than 500 minutes played, the US international ranks in the top 6 in tackle percentage with a total of 52.3%, duel percentage with a total of 62.7%, and aerial percentage with a total of 66%. Among the cohort, his 15.7 defensive interventions per 90 minutes of actual playing time is second in La Liga, though he's been sharp on the ball as well, especially in the attacking third, where his passing percentage is third in the league among defensive midfielders at a total of 89.6%. So ever since he joined Real Betis 5 months ago, which was back on January 2024, he has been in top form. He knew that he could not waste any time. He knew that if he had a great 5 to 6 months with Real Betis, he was going to get called up to go play in the Copa América. Like, he wants to be there. You can just tell. There's a reason why so many clubs from Germany, from England want Johnny Cardoso right now. He really is special. This is also what he had to say about breaking into the US men's national team starting 11, while you do have Mckennie, Musah, Adams, and Reina in the mix in the midfield. And I quote, "I always say it's a privilege to be able to represent my country. I don't count on the absence of others either. I always focus a lot on my development, and as I always say, that it only does depend on me, on my performance at my club, which today is Real Betis. And I do have a very positive mind. If I develop my soccer well here, I will have opportunities in the national team." Johnny Cardoso has also been nominated for La Liga Young Player of the Season. In order to be nominated, you do have to be under the age of 23 years old. I don't necessarily believe that he's going to win it because you have players like Kubarsi, Lamine Yamal, Savio, Yan Couto, also Kubo, Rodrigo in the nominations, but the fact that he's even there in the first place just shows you how special he has been. And so to me, I do think that if he does everything correctly, he shows up against Colombia and Brazil, which will be huge games, and for sure the pre-game towards the Copa América. If he does well, Gregg Berhalter can start Johnny with Mckennie and Gio Reyna. Johnny would play as a 6, Mckennie will play as a 6/number 8, and then you do have Gio Reyna as your pure number 8. The US is going to be facing a lot of teams in the Copa América where those teams have a lot of technical quality. Yes, the Copa América is being seen as a very physical, very intense, aggressive type of tournament, but still in the end, teams like Argentina, teams like Brazil, teams like Uruguay, etc., they're very technical. And if the US want to be ball dominant, have possession of the ball, outplay the opponent, you're gonna need high technical players, and a player like Johnny makes much more sense to start in the midfield over Tyler Adams. Of course, Tyler Adams also has his case on why he should be starting. He covers a lot of ground. Argentina, Brazil are going to be trying to outrun you through the midfield, through the right flank, through the left flank. Of course, Tyler Adams is going to be needed. So it's all going to be depending on how Gregg Berhalter does want to play his team and how they should be facing the big ones. Like I've said, Argentina and Brazil. Do you want to be the protagonist? Do you want to have the ball? Put Johnny Cardoso. If you want to sit back and go on the counter and let the opposition have the ball, of course, Tyler Adams would make much more sense. But there is a huge huge advantage towards having Johnny in the midfield with Mckennie and Gio. And so in the end, he definitely does earn a spot. So that is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.